everything I do.
Pray.
Oh, wise guy.
Wow.
What's what?
What's on the menu? Citizens Academy.
What are we having tonight?
You've been briefed. Do we have to pause a minute for fuel to kick in, or start right at 7?
Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the January 3rd City Council meeting for the City of Oldsmar, Florida. It's 7 p.m. Calling the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'd like to wish everybody a healthy, Happy New Year this year. As you can tell, I am not Dan Saraki. Dan, our mayor, is currently not feeling well, so I'll be covering for him tonight. We do go to the same barber, so that is good. If you'll, next item on the agenda, let's start with the invocation and pledge allegiance led by Tom Trask, our city attorney.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of this community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents of the city of Oldsmar. Continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the betterment of the city of Oldsmar. This we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next item on the agenda is the Oldsmar Public Open Forum. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 5-minute presentation on any subject, except for items 5 and 6, which are, item 5, which is a public hearing tonight. You can speak at that time. Please state your name and address for the record, and we'll start on the right-hand side of the room tonight. So anybody on the right? Yes, sir.
Hello, my name is James Hummel, 132 Arlington Street. For the last couple weeks, I've been looking at the possibility of this new site where we're going to develop downtown. We're going to develop the library, we're going to develop downtown. So a friend of mine who came down to visit me for Christmas said Oldsmar's missing the very most important part. And I'm not picking on the Oldsmar Fire Company, but during the holidays, Safety Harbor had to come across the bridge and respond to the Oldsmar fire calls. I think that the Oldsmar City Commission and the mayor need to consider putting a small sub-fire station downtown to reassure the residents, and a small police station downtown too. Because after we develop these two sites and you go after to try and get a fire station, it's going to be harder and they're going to be more critical. So now that we have this opportunity, we should include a new small substation for police and a small fire substation. And when you furnish these, don't just buy from one fire company because everybody buys from it. Because the city of Dunedin, I recommended them to look at E1, and they saved $150,000 by buying an E1 fire truck instead of a Pierce fire truck. So I think the city could use a little substation and put all our residents at ease and have a quicker response time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Vince?
So Vince Albanese, 404 Jefferson Avenue. On behalf of the Oldsmar Neighborhood Association, I want to thank the city council staff for the generous donation to the not-for-profit, the Neighborhood Association. That $2,500 means a lot more than a dollar for dollar. It's symbolic of the city's commitment to getting something done, and we intend to use that money wisely as we move forward. I would like to talk about last year's results just for a second. There were focus last year was on helping small business. We partnered with the Chamber of Commerce and in getting economic recovery credits back. So economic recovery credits are not something that had to be paid back. It comes as a tax credit to small business. It comes in as a tax overpayment without any qualifications. So without naming any names, I want $134,000, $146,000, $28,000, $151,000, $212,000, $696,000, $292,000, $240. If you look at the 25 names on this list, they average $78,000 in rebates coming back. All right. The interesting thing is that out of that money, a portion of that is coming back as a charitable donation, and the neighborhood association is matching certainly what the city did and other things that we are doing here in order to help with beautification inside the city and other projects that we have going. So this is what I had called last year a virtuous circle on helping small business, getting that money flowing back in and pouring that money back into the community. So again, thank you very much. The seed money that you've given us is really symbolic of the city's appreciation. We look forward to working with the city in the future and helping expand this. So thank you.
Thanks, Vince.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Over on the other side. Anyone want to come speak?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Including you. Okay, how's everybody doing today? Wonderful. First of all, I appreciate council. Thank you guys for your service. We really appreciate it very much. I just have two things I want to bring up that I think can.
Can you state your name and address for the record?
They know my name and address. I'm just LJ Tucker, 303 Scarlet Boulevard.
Thank you.
First thing I want to bring up is Oldsmar's tree code. It's outdated. Before Al retired, we had talked, I met with him, and I've been incredibly busy, so I really haven't had a chance to follow up. So it's the beginning of the year, so it's one of the issues I just want to bring up. If I go speeding down Tampa Road or any road in Oldsmar, I can go 10 miles over, I'm gonna get a speeding ticket. But if I crank up a chainsaw and go cut a tree down in anybody's yard without a permit, the only thing the inspector can do is shut me down and there's no repercussion. I do own a business, Tucker Enterprise. I'm a certified arborist, so I don't have those issues with pulling permits, writing permits. Is what I do. I can go to City of Tampa, City of Clearwater, Safety Harbor. They have a comprehensive tree code. And if you go into one of those cities and cut a tree down without a permit, you're gonna feel it in your pocket. And one of the biggest fines in Tampa history was, I think it was a neighborhood of $280,000 for cutting down trees that shouldn't have been cut down. That was the extremest situation because they cut down 30 without a permit. So that's the first issue. With we need the code because as a business owner, I've been doing this for over 20 years in the city of Oldsmar. I'm based out of Oldsmar. I follow the code. As an arborist, I have a code that I have to follow. But because Oldsmar don't have a code that's comprehensive to the tree care industry, then it's a free-for-all. And you can do what you want. You're not even getting a slap on the wrist. Say, oh, you got to stop working until you pull a permit. The inspector hands are tied. So that's something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully that's something we can do soon. The other issue I have is, and I talked to Al before he retired about this as well. Again, I've been very busy myself, so I haven't had a chance to follow up, but it's been on my list, so that's why I'm here at the first of the year. I tried to come at the end of the year, but that meeting was canceled. So I was the only one here. Is the paver rule that we have, that's outdated. And what I mean by outdated is, here's your driveway. Per the city's code, you can do to the apron right here at the end of the driveway. You have to replace the sidewalk, and then you can come and finish your pavers here. Well, the only problem that I have with that, everybody don't follow that code. I'm not gonna put addresses out there, I'm not gonna name names, but there's more than a few hundred driveways that go all the way through. And because I wanna go all the way through, but the code says I can't, I've been waiting for over 2 years to put pavers in my driveway because I wanna do it the right way. I don't wanna stop at the apron here and then go here. That's quite expensive to take the sidewalk off, to re-put it back in. It's an outdated code. In all the neighboring cities, pavers can go all the way through the apron of the sidewalk. And it's a code that's on the books and it's not being enforced. I'm not trying to enforce anything. My objective is, it's an outdated code that should be updated. I mean, we're not operating the same way that we operated 20, 30 years ago. We're not driving the same cars, we're not driving the same, we're not wearing the same clothes. And, you know, somebody might have a classic, I stand corrected. Somebody might have a classic car that they may still be driving from 20 or 30 years ago. But sometimes those laws have to change for the betterment of the citizens, because there's a lot, if you look at the brick pavers, everybody's not following that code and it's not being enforced. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.
Thanks,
Yeah.
LJ.
Anybody else on the other side of the room? Yes, ma'am.
Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East, right here in Oldsmar, and Happy New Year. It's good to see all of you. And I'm here today for the Oldsmar Historical Society, and just wanted to let you know, do you know who's turning 20 years old this year? Not me, I wish, but it's not me. But this particular Oldsmar Historical Society is turning 20 this year. It was incorporated in 2003, so we have 20 years behind us, and we hope to have a very active 2023. To start off, usually every new year you say get out there and exercise, right, or walk. So January 14th is a Saturday, and we're going to have a historic walking tour. And it'll be at 11 o'clock, 11 to 12:30. And one of our volunteers, Ken Sidorowicz, will be leading it. So I hope some of you can come and attend. And I'll be telling you more about our society as the year goes on. But thank you.
Where does the walk start, Jerry?
It starts at this building.
Oh,
the
okay,
Oldsmar,
downstairs.
the bank building here, outside, or you can come into the museum, it'll be open. And then we'll start down Park. What's really exciting is we have a new family. The Historical Society had cookies and drinks during the tree lighting. And I do want to compliment the city on all the holiday activities for the family and kids. But we were outside, and one of the new families bought a 1918 bungalow. So once I found out which house she bought, I said, oh, we're going to have a tour in January. Like, would you like strangers to come in? But we've been in that house before, but it has unique architecture in there, and so she agreed. So we'll be visiting that house. That house in particular was also in the Tampa Tribune in 1918, featured as one of Ariel's bungalows, and it was in his 1918 brochure that he would send up north to try to get people to come to Oldsmar to invest and buy and live. So I just sent her the digitized copy of the Tampa Tribune with her house in it, so she could print it and put it in her house if she wants, and we'll digitize the brochure from 1918. But she's opening our house, and then the Women's Club is going to be open as well. So the Women's Club house is what Ariel's had for the workers who came to help build Oldsmar, and the Women's Club house was donated to them. But it's owned by the city now, but the history of that, but they can see inside. So I hope some of you can come and join us, and those behind us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Anybody else on this side of the room? With that, I'll go ahead and close the public forum. Next on the agenda is the community minute by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
All right, second Friday is coming up again, Friday, January 13th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at City Hall East Lot. Power up the golf carts, grab the kids, and check out this monthly event featuring food vendors, car shows, and more. More fun than you can conceive. Presented by the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. Check. And then we have open houses coming up. The City of Oldsmar will host 3 public open houses to present a revised site plan for the property adjacent to the public library. All residents and businesses are encouraged to attend. We got Saturday, January 7th from 9 to 11 at the Rec Center. Monday, January 9th, 1 to 3 at Guller Village, their clubhouse. And then Tuesday, January 10th, 6 to 8 at the public library. Tree recycling. So this is going on right now as we speak through Friday, January 27th at Arields Park. Bring your tree to the designated area at Arields Park, 107 Shore Drive West. Trees will be ground down and used as mulch for upcoming city projects. We don't want the mulch to get polluted, so be sure to remove all ornaments, glass, wax, string, lights, and else. And a couple more dates coming up. Holiday closures, all offices, facilities, and the library will close on Monday, January 16th in observance of Martin Luther King holiday. And last but not least, we have a work session right here on January 10th at 2 o'clock. Is the GAI consultants and council will be meeting to discuss options for their request for proposal that they will develop and then put out there for the property that will be developing next to City Hall. So a lot of stuff coming up in January.
Thank you, Ann. Next on the agenda is the approval of addition of new agenda items. Items number 5 and 7. Do I have a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Passes. Next up is awards and recognitions. Tonight's is by Councilmember Katie Gannon.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. I'm loving this row right here. Tonight, I have a very special privilege of honoring an Oldsmar citizen whom, if you don't know yet, just hang around for another hour or so, and then you will. I promise you, you will. Ms. Peggy Allison is here tonight with some of her family and all friends as well, and I'll tell you a little bit about them. But her infectious energy and charitable nature make her an absolutely unforgettable individual here in Oldsmar and a magnet for people. Peggy and her husband, Paul, met in West Virginia, where she grew up, and they've been married for 38 years. Oh, a little bird told me, by the way, that your birthday is coming up on January 12th as well. Lots to celebrate this month. Peggy is mother to 5 sons. 5. I have 1, and I'm swimming. Ryan, Evan, Brad, Keith, and Kevin. 2 of them are twins, by the way. Keith and Kevin are here tonight as well. And a grandmother of 4. She's been on every youth sports board that there is. All of the things, the baseball and the swimming and the soccer, all of the things. She's a cool fact, actually. She's actually a retired postmaster. And while a postmaster in West Virginia, she actually received multiple annual awards for traveling all over the Appalachian District and encouraging people to charitably donate to the United Way from their payroll checks to other. So she's always been a very charitable kind of person. You're going to see that when you learn more about her. So lucky for Oldsmar, Peggy and her husband moved down to Florida to, quote, retire, and I use that term very lightly, in 2011. And she landed in Gull Air with her husband and her kids. And, you know, some people retire, like her good friends, Randy Collingsworth, he's retired. There he is. He retired yesterday. Turns out he actually relaxed today, but apparently Peggy didn't really get that memo on retirement. She hasn't really done that yet. While they do love going on cruises, Peggy still works as a travel agent, and she's now doing part-time taxes for a CPA firm. She did that for 26 years too, in addition to banking, just hobbies, just a couple hobbies. Not surprisingly, she's involved in Galera in many ways. She's been president of the social club for several years, creating new and exciting events like the pig roast and the pool float party. Some fun and cool events to keep the costs low for a lot of their social dinners and just to create more community. She also serves as chair of the architectural committee. She started the Veterans Club. She annually submits names for consideration of engraving on the wall at Oldsmar's Veterans Park. She submits names annually for Quilts of Valor, a very cool it's like a nonprofit organization. They literally sew and create these beautiful quilts to give away to veterans. The most intricate designs you've ever seen. I had the opportunity to attend one of the ceremonies where they hand and present these quilts that are literally stitched with love with these notes to veterans, and they're all personalized. It's absolutely beautiful. She met with Oldsmar's 2022 Citizen of the Year, David Wallace, and had this tiny idea to start an Oldsmar Cares sort of subset over at Galera Village in her spare time, of course. She's actually missing a meeting tonight. I asked her when I walked in, I said, what meeting are you missing to be here tonight? But I was kind of kidding, but then she wasn't. She was like, oh, it's the social club meeting. So I was like, okay, yeah. By the way, if you do bring a donation to Coffee Clutch for the Oldsmar Cares food bank over there, you can get a free raffle ticket. She gave me good tips. She's completed, along with Paul, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Academy and the Advanced Academy. She's a 2022 graduate, along with Paul and Randy and Karen, of Oldsmar's Janice Miller Citizens Academy. And then immediately upon graduation, she volunteered to be appointed to our code enforcement board. So she just keeps it going. She's volunteered in our city in many ways, including at Haunted Happenings, Winter Wonderland, BMX for the Gator Nationals, keeping track of the hours for Bright Future Scholars. She's also regularly volunteered at the Oldsmar Cares Gala. I'm absolutely positive that I'm forgetting to list her many, many accomplishments, but she's probably okay with that because the thing about Peggy is she doesn't do it for the recognition at all. She doesn't ask, why me? She asks, why not? And she really does it because she cares very deeply. She told me the secret that keeps her going. Never stop learning. Never stop learning. And I think there's a lesson we can all learn from that, as well as from her example of never stop giving. She's always giving back of her time, her talent, her treasure. She's given to our community, our veterans, our children, our city. She asked, why me? And I said, why not? Why not? And for those gifts, the gift of her inspiration, her education, the many gifts that she gives to others, we recognize her with the December 2022 Council Manager Award. I'd love for her to come on up here and take some pictures with me. And give us a couple words, maybe. Tell us, what do you love about Oldsmar?
The people. Of course. Everyone was so kind to us when we moved here, and we just kept coming back to Oldsmar when we started looking. We looked at Sarasota, St. Petersburg, and kept driving around, and we kept coming back to Galera. And we just loved the Bay. So we always try to go over to the Bay. And then, like I said, we come here to retire. Then one son, then two sons, then three sons, and then Kevin came, and then we still have one son in Myrtle Beach, but that's okay. He visits. But I'm so blessed to have my family here with me, my friends, and like I say, I've gotten to know everyone here, and so I think Tom's about the only one I don't know that well, but he's a busy man, I understand. But everyone else is just like family to me, and I love this award. It's like I said, me? Why me? When Kathy sent me the letter, I'm thinking, what? So I sent it back and I said, okay. But I love it. I'm so thankful for it.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you do. True ambassador for our community and our city. Thank you, Peggy. Oh. There's something else coming?
Something else coming.
Oh.
Miss Kathy is always so wonderful.
What a sweetheart. Like, come get a picture.
Much more.
Yes. I don't, that's why I'm like going through the list. I'm like, when does she sleep?
My phone goes off, it bings, and I look and it's like 1:02 a.m. and it's Peggy.
It's Peggy. It's
Speaking of
Peggy.
something new to do, we're having a new fire, thanks to the city and the fire department, fire department, thank you. They're gonna supposedly help me with the little, I guess, fire pit I'm gonna have, so that we can sing campfire songs, do things like we used to do.
New social club events, yeah.
They've never had one, so brilliant idea I had.
And a murder mystery.
On a murder mystery.
Ooh, there we go.
So, okay, take the picture, hubby. Take one. You probably didn't know how to operate the camera. There we go. The smart boys, right? Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you all for coming tonight. It's so sweet of you, Kathy.
All right, thank you, Councilmember Gannon. Next on the agenda is our consent docket, which will be read by Ann Nixon, our city clerk. Does anybody wish to pull anything? No?
No.
Ann?
Item number 2, approve minutes of the December 6, 2022 council meeting. Item number 3, approve first renewal term of 2022-009-ITB landscape and median maintenance with Mendez All Services LLC.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent docket?
So moved.
Second.
Second, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
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 I'm getting this.
You're
You're
good.
good, you're good.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the City of Oldsmar. And that's item number 4, approve reappointments of Ken LaCroix, Joe Santana, and Amber Stevens to the Leisure Services Advisory Board. That'll be read by our city manager, Alicia Donnelly.
Vice Mayor, thank you. This item is to approve the reappointments of Ken LaCroix, Joe Santana, and Amber Stevens to the Leisure Service Advisory Board. I believe that Amber Stevens, and I believe I saw Joe Santana in the audience. So if you all would like to come up.
Come on up, guys.
And I didn't see Ken.
I didn't either.
She got the mic.
Hi, Holly.
Hello?
Happy New Year, Holly.
So we just need a motion to approve.
So do I have a motion to approve the reappointments?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded, thank you. Any discussion?
You guys
Thank you.
okay on there?
Yeah, thank you both.
Thank you for your service. Anything to tell us about things going on at the board?
Aw.
Aw.
Aw. Good, good,
Awesome.
awesome.
Great. Well, we thank you
Thank
for
you
your
guys
volunteer
for
and your
your
service.
service.
Thank you. All right, all in favor? Signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Next.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, we want a photo?
We'll take a photo.
Chip, it wasn't on my agenda. You need to take a photo. Sorry. I missed that.
Right at new job this week.
You want us to stand behind?
Or
Yeah, that'd be good. Right in front of
Andy.
Vice Mayor, please. Tom, you're good. Okay, thank you.
All right. Next up on the agenda is our city attorney, item number 5.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Item number 5 is the public hearing for the first reading of ordinance 2023-02, providing for reduction of setback regarding fence placement near sidewalks, and providing for fence and wall heights in residential districts. I'll go ahead and read that ordinance by title only. Ordinance 2023-02, an ordinance of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, to provide for reduction of setback regarding fence placement near sidewalks, and also providing for fence and wall heights in residential districts in Section 5.1.7 of Article 5 zoning regulations of the City of Oldsmar's Land Development Code, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date of this ordinance. That was the first reading of ordinance 2023-02 by title only. In the packet, you'll see that in the background, in January 2022, the city approved ordinance 2022-05, which redefined secondary front yards and included additional provisions for fence placement requiring a 5-foot setback from the back of the sidewalk to the new fence. Since then, the city has received multiple complaints regarding the new setback requirements. The Technical Review Committee reevaluated the original code amendment and agreed to reduce the setback from 5 to 2 feet. That's what this ordinance is trying to accomplish. This is a public hearing. The mayor has asked me to handle the public hearing. If there's anyone that wants to speak on this particular ordinance, if you could step up to the podium and state your name and tell us what you want to hear. Well, want us to hear. Yes, Jerry.
Jerry Antozzi, 509 Shore Drive East in Oldsmar. I don't usually speak on things like this, but I saw it coming up, so I read a little bit more about it. And during the summer, sometimes I go away. So I came back, and it might have been 2 summers ago. So I have a new neighbor. So the fence is a plastic fence, a white one, goes like 2 feet from the sidewalk. So Tatiana Childress, I called her, and I think she's here, so she knows. But I said, are they allowed to have fences in the front yard? I said, I've lived on this street, 40, at that time it was probably 42, 43 years. And I said, there's never been a fence in the front yard. Yes, it's allowed. And so I took it in. And then I started paying attention to some houses that are starting to have fences in their front yard. Well, I looked at my own yard, and on Shore Drive, when the sidewalk came in, of course, they were going to consider, I'm going way back, having sidewalks on both sides, the water side and our side. I don't live on the water side, so I live across the street. So those on the water side said, no, we don't want sidewalks on our side because we have this and that, So the sidewalks came in across the street. Well, the sidewalks are not straight all the way down. So they go in, and so you can see them going into the yard a little bit more. So I looked at mine, and my water meters would be outside the 2 feet, or whatever y'all are considering. But my reclaimed water, I looked at that, and it's at least 4 or 5 feet inside. It would be inside a fence if I decided to put a fence. And I just didn't know with Public Works what kind of, you said the technical committee reviewed it, so I don't know what kind of problem that would pose for city workers in order to address a reclaimed water issue. Like, I did have one not too long ago, and they came right up, looked at it, pulled it out, but I don't have a fence in my front yard. Then coming home today, I started looking. On St. Pete Drive, there is a house that has a chain link fence. It's 4 feet, and it's probably not even 2 feet from the sidewalk. So, and it's rusted and all. So I don't, it doesn't give a warm, fuzzy feeling, if you have your Ring cameras and then you start closing in your property. It's just my opinion, but I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. Anyone else that'd like to speak on this particular ordinance? Okay, now we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and Mayor, back to you for someone to make a motion.
Great. So do I have a motion to approve the the first reading ordinance 2023-02?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? Start over here at Councilman Buchanan.
Can, I guess I'm not entirely clear about the front yard and the side yard. I had thought that we weren't changing anything about the front yard. It had always been permitted only up to 3.5 feet. We were just changing the distance from the sidewalk. Is that correct?
That's correct. We just changed the language a little bit with regard to the height of the fence in the front yard. It's always been 3.5 feet.
Right.
And we're not changing that. We're just modifying the language a little bit to specifically set out where the principal front yard is in relation to the fence height. But as for the back of the public sidewalks, that was changed. It was originally adopted back at the ordinance that was adopted back in January 2022 to require fences to be at least set back 5 feet from the sidewalk. That way they could be maintained. And obviously that closed in side yards and backyards a little bit if there was a sidewalk involved. And so I think that, and Tatiana could maybe explain a little bit more, but the idea was let's have them have a bigger side yard and a bigger backyard so you
Right.
can get closer to the sidewalk.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay. Do you know, Felicia, if it does pose any issues with city staff trying to access public utilities or the public portion, or would Tatiana be aware of that?
No, it shouldn't, because you can't erect a fence within the city right-of-way.
Okay.
So city utilities are located within the city right-of-way.
Okay. That's what I thought. So they have the right to access that area of the property regardless of whether it is partially fenced or if they have to walk around it, for instance?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. That was all I wanted to.
Councilman Burnett?
So just to follow clarification on that, then if there is an instance where a meter is further set back from the sidewalk, then that's still in the right of way. So then that's precluding somebody from going 2 feet away from the sidewalk.
Correct. The fence still has to be erected and within the property boundaries.
Okay.
So that does fluctuate.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing for me. Nothing? I don't have anything. Close the comments. Roll call.
Councilmember Graver?
Yes.
Councilmember Knapp?
Yes.
Councilmember Gannon?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Buckman?
Yes.
First reading of ordinance 2032-02, providing for a reduction of setback regarding fence placement near sidewalks and providing for fence and wall heights in residential districts, passes with 4 votes for and 0 against.
Thank you. Item number 6, under City Attorney, is adopt Resolution 2023-01, adopting a community engagement policy. At the December 6, 2022 meeting, Council authorized me to prepare a draft resolution to adopt a community engagement policy. I'm going to go ahead and read that resolution by title only. Resolution 2023-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, adopting a community engagement policy and providing for an effective date hereof. That was the reading of Resolution 2023-01 by title only.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Start with Councilmember Knapp.
I'm really excited to see this move forward and hopefully be adopted here momentarily. And then I know that the city manager is working on a excellent presentation following meeting as it relates to this. So, job well done by Felicia by crafting this policy, taking the idea and really making it something unique that not a lot of cities are out there doing.
We like being the first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Councilmember Graver?
Oh, nothing for me. I'm excited to move forward. This is the next step.
Councilmember Gannon?
Kudos to Andrew for bringing it up in the first place.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I ditto that same response. Congratulations. So, go ahead. All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. Next, we're on to the city manager, Felicia Donnelly.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Item number 7 is approve the assignment of the Oldsmar City County funds for the opioid litigation to Pinellas County City County Fund. The state of Florida litigated against numerous pharmaceutical companies engaged in the manufacture, marketing, promotion, and distribution of opioids. The state reached a settlement, which was approved by the City Council via Resolution 2022-23 on November 15, 2022. The settlement included a state fund, regional fund, and a city-county fund. The city-county fund includes a direct distribution to all cities with a population greater than 10,000. The settlement amount to be deposited in each fund is based on a number of variables. The funds from the settlement can only be used for opioid abatement activities, such as strategies, programming, and services used to expand the availability of treatment for individuals impacted by opioids. This assignment would combine the funds the city receives with the funds the county receives in order to provide the greatest benefit to the citizens of Oldsmar and Pinellas County. By transferring these funds to the county will be responsible for any activities and associated reporting requirements for approved opioid abatement services paid using these funds. Staff recommends approval of the assignment of the Oldsmar City County funds from the opioid litigation to Pinellas County City County Fund.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Any discussion? Councilmember Gannon.
I think it absolutely makes sense. We don't have the infrastructure in place as a city to, really expand the availability of treatment for opioid use disorder, co-occurring substance abuse, or mental health disorders. And the county already has a massive system in place for that, for juveniles, for folks who are incarcerated. So, combining the funds can actually reach people who might be located in our area. And as opposed to doling out tiny amounts to the individual cities, it makes sense to pool the efforts, especially for the smaller cities like us, not the smallest, but smaller cities that don't have even a building in which those types of activities are conducted. So it makes sense.
Councilmember Now.
I think one thing just to point out is I think a lot of, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, from the city manager's words was that pretty much all the cities are doing this. So everybody's collating those funds together at the county level. So it's going to be the best use of it.
Councilmember Graber?
Makes sense.
I agree. This is, all the cities are doing it. This is a good thing for the county. So all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Number 8.
Item number 8, approve naming requests from Oldsmar Little League to name batting cages 1 and 3. Your agenda says 2, but it's really batting cage number 3, correct? Okay. So Oldsmar Little League has been the recipient of donations from 2 families that lost sons who were former youth players. In their discussions with the families, it was identified by the league that the donations would best be utilized toward the rehab of the batting cages located at the Oldsmar Sports Complex Phase 1, as it would provide the most benefit to current and future players. In recognition of the 2 separate donations and in accordance with Resolution 2016-02, naming Oldsmar Public Parks, spaces, preserves, and recreation facilities or portions thereof, the league has submitted a request to place signage on the batting cages, naming them the Bryce Arnold Memorial Batting Cage and the Scott McMillan Memorial Batting Cage. Staff has reviewed the request, and the item was discussed at the November 14th Leisure Service Advisory Board meeting, receiving approval to recommend the City Council approve the request. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you, City Manager. Start off, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Start off with Councilmember Graber.
Nothing from me. I think this is, when I was reading through the information that David provided, I didn't know. So thank you for doing that, Dave. But moving forward this way, using it for a good purpose, looked like the family requested, hey, what can we do? We'd like to give that, something to the sports complex. Our sons spend a lot of time there. I think it's meaningful and fantastic idea.
Councilmember Gannon?
I was actually going to ask you a couple quick questions. Dave, do you mind? Thank you so much for coming tonight.
No problem.
Dave's the city liaison for Oldsmar Little League. I think I saw you guys out there kind of rehabbing the batting cages before Florida winter last week.
Yes.
when it was actually really, really hot out.
Yes,
What
it
kind
was.
of things were you guys doing out there? I saw at least a dozen people out there.
Well, we had a bunch of people pulling out putting down crushed concrete, and we brought in 2 rolls of artificial turf to put down in 2 of the cages, one of them being one of the ones that's being rehabbed for the family. And then, of course, we had some other volunteers doing some other stuff, working in the concession stand, cleaning that out, and had somebody pressure washing, and so
Yeah.
lots of good stuff going on. Got
Spring
some more stuff
registrations
going-
right now too, right?
Yes, registration's open. I think we have January 16th is our evaluation day. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I read somewhere. And yeah, so we're amping up for the spring, and we're excited and got lots of good things going on.
Did you know Bryce or Scott?
No, I did not. So with Scott's family, when they came in, the father had saw one of the signs on the batting cage for a championship that we had won, and recognized one of the names. And he said, "Oh, I knew an E-step when Scott played." And I said, "This is probably the son." And when I went and talked to the son, who's now a coach, he's like, "Oh, that was my boy. I can't believe that." You know, he was really upset, and he said that they played together all through Little League and also through high school. So it's definitely somebody who was loved and known in the community.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this to our attention and moving
thank
it
you.
through the process. I know it's kind of a process to name things and follow the procedure, but it's really meaningful.
Thank you.
Councilor Knapp?
I actually played with Scott.
Did you really?
We knew him as Scotty.
Scotty?
He was probably one of the best players that I knew growing up. He was a great pitcher and an excellent hitter, too. And I didn't know of his passing. It's sad to hear. But that's really, really special that his dad and mom wanted to give back to
Yeah.
so many great memories that so many of us had there at the ballpark. So thanks for doing this for them.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you. I don't have anything. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Passes.
Thanks.
Number 9.
Item number 9, approve interlocal agreement for fire prevention code plan review and inspection fees with Pinellas County. Pinellas County Building and Development Review Services acts as the building department for the city of Oldsmar, processes building permits in order to administer, enforce, and ensure compliance with the Florida Building Code. Fire protection system related permitting requires fire prevention code plan review to be completed by City of Oldsmar Fire Rescue as the authority having jurisdiction. Under the agreement, Pinellas County Building and Development Review Services will collect the fire prevention code plan review and inspection fees and will remit 100% of the fees to the city. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 10.
Item number 10, approve an agreement for the use of recreation facilities with Oldsmar Little League. The City of Oldsmar partners with youth sports organizations to provide recreation-based sports facilities and activities at the Oldsmar Sports Complex. This item recommends the approval of an agreement that utilizes the baseball and softball fields 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, located in Phase 1 portion of the complex. The agreement reflects a field allocation that considers the number of players served by the organization. Based on their needs and goals, the Oldsmar Little League is allocated field space Monday through Friday from 5 to 11 p.m. and Saturdays from 8:30 to 3 p.m. This allocation does not include Sundays or when the fields are utilized for tournaments or closed for maintenance. The league will be responsible for reimbursing the city 50% of the electrical cost for the concession stand year-round and $10 per hour per ball field lights whenever they're used by the league. In an effort to assist the league in reducing increasing operating expenses, the city will forego collecting the custodial cleaning reimbursement charges for the contract year, which is estimated to be $1,224. The agreement has been reviewed by the city attorney. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Keep playing ball.
It's a great season.
Play ball.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Number 11.
Number 11, approve the special event application fee waiver request for the Rotary Club of Oldsmar East Lakes Armadillo Run to be held on March 18th, 2023. In March of 2023, the Rotary Club of Oldsmar East Lake will host its 42nd annual Armadillo Run. Over the years, the club has been recognized as a civic organization supporting the local community. Their activities include events at local schools, providing food and gifts for the needy and homeless, supporting local emergency management agencies, providing disaster relief, and supporting local youth programs. Profits from this race will be utilized by the club to provide services and activities such as Student of the Month at local schools, the Thanksgiving and Christmas Adopt a Family program, youth mentoring, educational sponsorship, wheelchairs for wounded warriors, and other programs. This item includes, it requests the waiver of fees in the amount of $2,840. In accordance with the special event guide, the above organization is requesting that the city waive fees associated with the event. All external costs, including utility fees of $50, will be the responsibility of the event organizer. It is anticipated that the event will bring over 400 runners to the city. A copy of the application is attached. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. And I have a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I can't believe it's been 42 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Good for them. Good for them.
I'll see you out there.
Who else is running?
See you out there.
5K or 10K?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm planning on the 10.
Woo! 10K. All right.
I'll wave to you guys as you're exercising. I'll be
Cheer,
there.
cheer us on. Meet us at the
Well, I
finish
don't know
line.
about that. I'll wave.
Well done. Well done. Carry on.
All right. Let's go to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item, we're going to City Clerk Ann Nixon, item number 13.
Item number 12.
12.
Did I skip you?
There's another opportunity for a
Skipped
run.
another
for Steve.
run.
There's one more run.
Right. See what you're doing there.
There's 2 runs?
There's 2 runs, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Well,
wait.
Steve wanted
I
to
can
do
wait for
both.
Steve.
missed
Yeah,
that
Steve
one.
wanted to do both, so.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had it there.
No, I did. I've already checked it off because it said run. I thought it was a run, but I missed.
Double
Sorry.
run.
Go ahead with the second run.
Item number 12, approve the special event application fee waiver request for the annual Honor Our Heroes Memorial 5K Run to be held on Saturday, May 27th. On Saturday, May 27th, Oldsmar Cares will host the annual Honor Our Heroes Memorial Run in Oldsmar. Oldsmar Cares is a valued civic organization that has provided support to our local community by funding programs such as stopgap rent, utility assistance, health screenings, financial assistance programs, employment services, a free food pantry, free clothes closet for those in need throughout the year and throughout Oldsmar. Profits from this race will be utilized by the organization to expand services to veterans and first responders. The item requests waiver of fees in the amount of $2,840. In accordance with the special event guide, the organization is requesting that the city waive the fees associated with the event. All other external costs, including utility fees of $50, will be the responsibility of the organizer. It is anticipated that the event will bring over 525 runners and spectators to the downtown area. A copy of the application is attached. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
526 if Steve joins.
Yeah.
Not available that date either?
You're out of
I
town that
said I
day?
was available. I just said I wasn't running. I mean, I'm around.
Just teasing. Just
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Now we're on to the city clerk.
Item 13, schedule work session to interview final candidates for the city clerk position. November 15, 2022, City Council approved the process for selecting the city clerk replacement. The process included a work session for February 9, 2023. The work session should be at Council Chamber, 101 State Street, West Oldsmar. The recommended time is 1 o'clock.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Motion to schedule the work session for February 9, 2023.
I guess I'm just being painful because I don't want to do this. I don't want to see Ann leave, but I guess we have to realize that's
You do
real.
have to do
And
it.
she's going to leave. So do I have a second?
You have a second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
I echo your sentiments.
Okay, you guys, we can't cry every meeting
Yeah,
till
every
then.
There's no crying.
There's no
Gets this puppy going.
Going? Okay. All reluctantly in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next on the agenda is item number 14.
Item 14, schedule work session regarding golf cart ordinance review and reimbursable expenses for council members. So there was 4 dates that were handed out: Thursday, February 2nd, Wednesday, February 15th, Thursday, February 16th, Thursday, February 23rd. My understanding is Wednesday, February 15th is a good date for most. The proposed start time is 6 o'clock to encourage public engagement and participation. The location will be Council Chamber, 101 State Street, West Oldsmar. And just want to point out that we couldn't have done 6 o'clock really for the city clerk's work session because that's the night of the Oldsmar Cares Gala.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But this time we can.
Okay.
So we're looking at February 15th at 6 o'clock.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second?
I just need to jump in.
Yes.
I just need to tell the council that I have a conflict that night on February the 15th. I have Safety Harbor Code Enforcement Board meeting I've been doing for over 30 years. And so if you want to handle it, I'm just going to have to send a different lawyer from my office, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Should,
I kind of wanted you to be there for the golf cart ordinance review and talking about that. That would be, thoughts, guys?
I'm good on any of those days, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with the others too. So
I'm good with the other days as well.
Was there,
Was there?
So I'm available on the 2nd and on the 16th. I have no conflicts. And I have another conflict on the 23rd as well.
Can we do the 16th?
16th at 6?
Alicia, do you know about the mayor's availability?
Should we inquire about the mayor's?
Or-
Yeah.
I do not know his availability. You could put it on the next agenda.
Okay,
We have
Do you
some
wanna-
time.
okay.
All right, so
Just table this to the next agenda?
We'd have to withdraw the motion.
withdraw my motion.
No, make a new one?
Make, yep, I move to table this agenda, postpone this agenda item until the next meeting of January.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Nope. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passes.
Sure.
Possibly.
Catch
Okay.
All right, next is city council. We'll start with council comments, and I'm going to go left, go with Mr. Graber to start this evening.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Happy New Year to everyone. Congratulations, Peggy. Congratulations on your retirement. Whatever you guys did this week, congratulations. I didn't get updates, but I'm just very happy for Peggy, for sure. And I'm sure everyone has seen it, or at least been following the news today. As all of you know up here, some of you may know in the audience, I am from Buffalo, New York. I am an enormous Buffalo Bills fan. When you have a blizzard in November and you have a bomb cyclone, or whatever that was called, that impacted Christmas, and then what happened last night to Damar Hamlin, I was consumed by it today, trying to work, trying to focus on getting updates, and of course we don't have any updates. It's just very difficult. He's only 24, and his parents are only 40, so he's got a 7-year-old little brother. And so I don't know if the little brother was at the game yesterday, his mom was, but Buffalo's been through a lot, and they get knocked a lot. My parents made me move, so I didn't have to decide, so, I always love going back up there. I never go this time of year because I want to come home, see my children. But it was just really scary, and I think everything was very palpable to anyone who saw what happened. I know ESPN and ABC wouldn't keep replaying it. You could find it if you really wanted to look. But absolutely scary. And you were waiting for the thumbs up or something, and it still hasn't come yet. I don't know what's happened since we've been at the meeting. I'm certainly anxious to find out once I can. but just a really somber event, a somber day. Having his mom there, having my own kids, once we had our son, I played football and I felt like a hypocrite, but the answer was no, like he's not playing. And then something like that happened. You can see all the other players, the former players that were talking about it, and how one of them just, breathed a giant sigh of relief when his son said, I just want to play basketball. I don't want to play football. Not that there's not any danger in other contact sports like that, but just when something like that happens, it puts it into perspective. That's all I really wanted to address tonight during council comments, only just because I'm sure everyone is thinking about him, certainly thinking about his family. There was no reason for the game to proceed last night, and so that decision was correct. I don't know what or how they're going to do it this coming weekend. And my brothers and their kids were at the game. And so it was just this very, I couldn't go to sleep and I couldn't stop watching it today. So it's on front of my brain. Just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. That's all I had, Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Graber.
Our VFW post commander Dave McKinley was at the game
Yeah, Dave
as
was
well. And as soon as I saw the news, I thought of Mayor Saraki and the connections to Buffalo. It's kind of uncanny how many connections our city has to Buffalo.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of Bills fans in town.
Yeah.
All right, Councilmember Gannon.
Well, I wanted to thank Peggy and her family and friends for coming tonight, and to wish her a very prosperous and wonderful 2023, and hope she continues to volunteer and participate in all of the City of Oldsmar's events and all of the events in Gulf Air, because she just brings a special light into the room. So thank you. And she's always remembering to thank her husband, her family, her friends, and volunteers. And you should see the Gulf Air Village newsletter. I mean, it's everything. Every other event is signed by Peggy Allison, and it was just one of those cool awards to give to someone who really has become an ambassador for the city, for Gulf Air in a lot of ways. The kind of partnerships that we're working on and continuing to connect our community. Peggy is, serving on the sort of new architectural board in Gulf Air, kind of making our code, make it into Gulf Air, and helping those residents understand the code and understand, more about our local government. And I'm pretty sure that the Citizens Academy was attended by a large number of Gulf Air residents this year. And it's not by accident. You see people who are, from these kind of outer areas of our city, and they're coming, to get more involved. And I just think it's fantastic. So I was just really excited about that. Happy New Year to everybody. The year is sort of like out with a bang, because we have a whole bunch of stuff going on in January, from the open houses to the GAI workshop. We've got the library, we have downtown, and we also have the comprehensive plan workshop at the Hampton Inn at the end of January, January 31st actually. So a lot of stuff going on already, so mark your calendars. Gosh, I was shocked at how many things were already happening. I think it's because normally I'm ready to kind of get back into things when the kids go back to school, but school doesn't go back until this coming Monday. So I was like, wait, I'm not ready yet. But it was actually been fabulous seeing the kids go to winter camp. Jackson went to Oldsmar winter camp for the first time this year. It was cool to see Vice Mayor Buckman's wife there dropping off Zachary. It was just really neat experience to participate, on that side of things, because, as a mom, you're like, okay, I'm on council, but also this is my baby, So thank you to city staff as well for making the entire production of events, from the very first, event after Thanksgiving all through the holiday season to family fun. Chip, you need a vacation day or something, I swear. It was really fantastic. There were so many events that were extraordinarily well attended, so many kudos.
Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Just a couple of things. I brought it up at a prior meeting under council comments, but just a quick reminder, we have the Tunnel to Towers
They did
Foundation event coming up January 13th through the 15th. Friday the 13th is going to be golf. It's over at East Lake Woodlands. And then Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and 15th, tennis and pickleball tournaments. There's still room to register. I am planning on playing pickleball. I am not planning on doing very well in said tournament, but I don't know if I'll golf, but I'm looking forward to it. There's also a fundraising dinner that Friday night at the country club. And then I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of Councilmember Graber's comments about what took place last night. And the really good, and maybe everybody in the room already knows this part of the story as well, feel-good moment, as tragic as what's going on right now. That young man had a charity that he was trying to raise funds for a toy drive, and he had a target of $2,500. And this was kind of a dead thing on GoFundMe because it had been back to 2020 when he was in college. And within 10 to 15 minutes last night, it picked up steam on Twitter and elsewhere, and they had suddenly banked $300,000. And then overnight and into this morning, it was at $5 million.
Yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. So, I mean, that's just a amazing feel-good story. It shows the kind of character that people in Buffalo are. I'm sure it's people in Cincinnati and people all over this country that are pouring in support in a way that they can help. You know, they can't all be at the hospital right now for this young man. So I feel like it was good for us to acknowledge that. And if you're out there and feel like being charitable, go look it up on GoFundMe. It's probably right at the top of the page right now. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Knapp. I just want to reiterate what Katie said. From the tree lighting forward, our city staff and the time they took away from their families to make sure our citizens had a great holiday season, I thought it was amazing, and the time they put in. So I concur. I think he should get an extra day off.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. I had an opportunity. I was going to watch the game last night and joined the mayor at a local place to watch the bar, and I walked into the bar and it was dead silent. I didn't know what was going on. And being in healthcare and watching everything, I don't want to dwell on what happened. I was reading reports today about 10 seconds. Within 10 seconds, he had CPR on that field. And I'm thinking to our residents, there's no way you can even make a phone call in 10 seconds to emergency services. There's an opportunity on Saturday, January 21st with our fire department to get your CPR training. I think it's a great opportunity. I hope I'm not overstaffing the class for you, Jason. I'll be there. I will most likely be there and get that training recertified for me. I've had it certified when I've been in the hospital before, but I want to get retrained and ready just in case. So I throw that out there. Other than that, I don't have anything else. I'll be on vacation the next couple of days. We'll go to the next item on the agenda is item number 16, approve the tentative agenda for January 17th, 2023. Does anybody wish to pull or add? I know we got a few additions that we want to add.
I would like to request an addition, and that is under the Community Redevelopment Agency. It's the consideration of the development agreement terms for the library site property for Devin Rushnell. So I would respectfully ask that that you all consider adding that to the tentative agenda.
Okay. We also have to move item number 14 as well. The additions. And was there one other?
So motion to,
Excuse Mayor Saraki from the meeting.
Oh,
to
that's right.
excuse
Thank
Mayor
you.
Saraki's absence tonight.
Yes.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
So
that's the
motion
Devin
to
Rushnell.
approve the tentative agenda with the amendments of item 14, which was postponed, scheduling the work session regarding the golf course cart ordinance review and reimbursable expenses for council members. And under CRA, consider the development agreement for the library site property with Devin Rushnell LLC. And under City Council, approve the absence of Mayor Dan Saraki from the January 3rd, 2023 meeting.
I didn't ask for a motion, so should I ask for a motion, then you repeat that, or? No, thank you. Do I have a second?
I can make a motion without you asking, though.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.